Once you feel comfortable with size and weight, start it around like an A3 or B3 and just like slowly start to work your way down. So I would suggest first starting kind of large and light and then slowly scaling size, getting a little smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then when you feel comfortable with that balance at this pitch range, start to slowly work your way lower. Now, there's a couple things you need to be careful about. The first is that as you descend in pitch, you're going to want to get heavier, and a certain increase in weight is going to be okay. But if you take it too far, it's going to start sounding really atypical. It's going to start sounding kind of overfull. So you want to avoid that. And then you're going to slowly decrease in the pitch and just kind of find a sweet spot. Pay attention to make sure that as you're going lower, you don't get larger, because that's going to also want to happen. And if you do, go back to that same sort of high pitched starting point and start to work your way down again. Eventually, you'll be able to find sort of like the balance that works for you, and the aesthetic of the sound that is interesting to you and that you want to continue developing. But especially at first, make it a habit to reset back towards that kind of overshooting feminine voice so that you can then make that your default. If you fail here, then at least you go back up here and you don't get misgendered. Whereas if you're failing here and you go back to here, it's going to make the entire process a little bit more tedious and a little bit more difficult. So yeah, the quicker you can get into this sound, the better and easier over time it is to develop sort of like, that more sort of low pitch, mature voice. And yeah, playing around with that. So, yeah, hopefully this makes sense. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.